This video is just for black and brown people. People of color are the owner of this video. If you are a white person and you eventually come across this video, pass. This one is not for you. Your own time is coming. Black and brown people on the queue. People of color on the queue, because it is time for us to sort out all this mess. Welcome back to my channel. Let's get right into this video. Credit belongs to the original creators of every clips we use in our today's episode, and I know that my black and brown people will enjoy it. Let's just get right in. I'll be back with commentaries.
It's wild how African Americans are upset at me for calling out the hater-ass energy they have towards Africans. You got people questioning my ethnicity in the comments, asking me where my family is from, asking me where I was born, automatically assuming that I'm either Caribbean or African. Like, no, I'm from the east side of Long Beach. I'm literally as black American as a black American can get. And I just find it funny and ironic how me advocating for black people around the world all of a sudden means that I'm anti-black American. Like, why are you trying to gatekeep skin color? Y'all will do whatever you can to try to debunk someone's blackness in order to invalidate their experience as a black person living and traveling in America, and to silence their voice when they're pointing out the degenerate behaviors that exist in the black community. I'm the type of person that advocates for everybody. Now, all of a sudden, all the times that I stood up for African Americans mean nothing because I said, hey, stop hating on Tyler and we need to start respecting African people. Now, all of a sudden, I can't claim to be a black American. What y'all don't realize is that people like me are always going to call out mistreatment and unfair behavior, even if it's coming from our own people, even if it's coming from the same group of people that we once stood up for. Because African people have been nothing but nice and welcoming towards us. So where is all this energy coming from, which African Americans have been very, very blatant and open about their disdain towards African people? Makes no sense. The way that y'all attacked me in these comments and advocating for African people, and calling out African Americans and their hater-ass energy that they have for African people is very telling to the type of people y'all really are. It's weird as fuck. And it really does expose the amount of self-hatred and bigotry that exists in the black community in America. Telling African people that they have no right to call out the degenerate behaviors and the things that they see wrong with the black community in America because they simply aren't born in America is one of the most intellectually dishonest things, is one of the most ignorant things that has ever came out of the black community since the foundation of this country. The fact that you guys will put more emphasis on the pain and struggles that divide Africans and African American people rather than emphasizing the skin color that brings us all together. Can't make this up. This is deeper than just that. This is a spiritual war. The enemy uses division in the black community to further block our collective progress. Can we as black people around the world make any type of progress if black people in America are fighting and envious and jealous of African people on the other side of the continent? The fact that African Americans cannot see how they're playing into the overall hand of the enemy by doing this and reinforcing these narratives is beyond me, because we should be the ones to recognize oppression and systematic racism faster than any other black person here on earth. If Satan and the enemy can continue to keep us fighting, hating each other, questioning each other, we will never move in the unity that God designed for us as black people here on earth, no matter what country or culture we come from. Because the Bible and God clearly states we are all one in Jesus Christ. Because division is man-made and God designed unity. Don't fall for the trap, y'all.
Africans do not like black Americans. So this is a fact.
No, it's an opinion, and a very asinine one at that. Because Africa is a continent with 54 countries and over 1.2 billion people. A statement such as Africans don't like African Americans is a very ludicrous statement, because one, is perpetuating this narrative that there is beef and animosity between Africans and African Americans. And two, what that is doing is it's generalizing an entire continent based off of the actions of a couple of African hairdressers who live in America. And this is coming from someone who has traveled to 4 out of 54 of the African countries. Okay, so I went to Tanzania and I was treated like royalty. People were bowing at my feet. I felt like I was some type of long lost queen who had finally returned to the land. Let's talk about Ghana. Ghana was one of the most beautiful countries that I ever visited. I had a family who opened up their home to me. They were feeding me 3 times a day. We were living by the beach. They were doing so much to just make me feel welcomed and loved. So this is for all of my African American people. Go to Africa. Go to the different countries that are there. Learn some of the languages, learn some of the cultures there, because this is the thing. There are more similarities than differences between Africans and African Americans. And we need to kill this narrative. We need to break the plane and start the conversation so that we can get to know each other and enjoy the beautiful continent that we call the motherland, Africa, Azania. Okay? Peace and blessings, y'all.
African and American women have in their head, and they'll leave all these men black.
So basically what this lady is saying is that African American women are leaving our men in our country and going to Nigeria to find men that are hungry. And I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing this kind of thing, because this is the thing that spews hate on this app. And for a lady at her big age to start something like this or continue with something like this, it's ridiculous. We are your sisters, and you should not be saying, stereotyping us. African American women get enough hate. I didn't hear you say white tea women or Italian women. I didn't hear you say that. But you said African American women. I'm so tired of women that look like me stereotyping me. Stop. We have enough hate from different people, different nationalities. We don't need your kind of hate. If you don't like what African American women are doing, then look past it. We're not hurting you. And a lot of us, yes, I admit that there's some that may come for that. But that's not everybody. There's some things that I see y'all do. There's some things that I see y'all do that I could talk about in stereotype, but I don't do that because it's just spewing hate. So auntie, at your big age, find you something else to do. Find you something else to talk about, because it's giving hate vibes. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. We don't need no diaspora wars. We don't need to be going back and forth. And some of y'all African women, don't come for me. Don't come for me, because I don't do this TikTok beef stuff, because I'm too old. But let's stop stereotyping each other, because there's a lot of stereotypes that I grew up hearing about you all too. I grew up hearing a lot of stuff about Africans in general. But because I've traveled there, I've gotten to know some people. I know that it does not mean that just because I've heard that from different people, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily true. So please, auntie, stop spewing hate, for real. Because you left your country. It looked like you, from what I can tell on your see on your video, it looks like you may be in another country yourself. So what did you leave your country for? You said that we left to find Bola and find a hungry man. What did you leave your country for? You see, it can go back and forth. So stop spewing hate. And don't come after me. Don't try to come for me and say, oh, this, and because you know what, because I don't do this, I'm just going to block and delete you. But find you something else to do besides spew hate. If you don't like the fact that we are coming to your so-called country, we could have said that a long time ago. Stop coming to my country, to my country. I don't understand this. Stop spewing hate. Heck.
I'm African American. My best friend is Trinidadian. My man is Nigerian. We not tolerating no diaspora wars over here. I'm a PhD student in African American studies. I study the Black Atlantic. We is not tolerating no diaspora wars over here. As soon as them diaspora wars started brewing, I just go. Because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it with y'all.
I am a Black American, and I absolutely love to travel to the continent of.
This is for the African Americans who think exactly like her, because I know it's not all of you. Whenever you decide to buy a ticket and visit another country, predominantly Africa or the Caribbean, can you please make sure to leave that stereotypical mindset that was inflicted upon you by these white people that oppressed you at the door before you enter? And if you can't do that, simply don't go. A girl went to Africa and someone got injured. Oh my God, someone got injured. Someone's phone got stolen. Oh my God, someone's phone got stolen. Sweetheart, you are from a country where a teenager can go to Walmart and buy a gun. America has the highest number of serial killers. You are from a country where when a white teenager feels depressed, he goes and shoots up a school. You are from a country where people who look exactly like you get murdered in broad daylight with all the evidence to show that they were actually murdered and never get any justice. So please explain to me how you can boldly acknowledge crime or incidents elsewhere, but you can't notice it in your own backyard. So crazy to me how the Western world have conditioned and convinced themselves and the people in their community to believe that crime exists everywhere else apart from the Western world. No, because let me do this again. Did people not die at Ariana Grande's concert in Manchester, England? Did Kim Kardashian not get robbed at gunpoint in Paris? And yet you still only acknowledge that crime exists in Africa? Some of these people are the same ones who will come on social media and make these stereotypical jokes about Africa, about the fact that Africa doesn't have any water. Meanwhile, Michigan don't have none neither. You lot will come on this app and stay shouting about how they live in mud huts and how they live in trees, but will never take a moment to look at the statistics of homelessness in LA and New York. People like you will come on this app and stay preaching and talking about how impoverished and poor and disadvantaged and how sad it is to be African and live in Africa because of how Africa is. Meanwhile, you're getting oppressed in your own country. Believe it or not, it's the same way when some of them go to the Caribbean. And you know, funny enough, same thing happens in Jamaica. Same thing. If you ever travel to Jamaica, just make friends with one of the staff at the hotel and ask them the worst guests who visit, and they will boldly tell you African Americans. And you wonder why some Caribbeans and Africans simply just don't like some of you. Because you lot come here and stay in other people's business and stay talking shit, knocking your cent against somebody else's dollar. You lot can really stay at the land of the free that ain't free. You really can stay there. Nobody's begging you to carry your bag and come. You understand? Don't buy tickets. Stay home. Good night.
Somebody please tell me, what is this mess that I'm hearing? Somebody, we supposed to be boycotting all African braid shops, African cuisine, restaurants, African grocery stores, sisters, supporting sisters. No. If you can't realize that there is more similar about us and our African brothers and sisters than what separates us, I don't know what to tell you. Sure, I've heard hurtful things. Family get into it. I've heard hurtful things. I've heard some bad, language used to describe us, and we've said some not so nice things about them. If you can't see that it's systemic racism that is at play, if you can't see that this is what they want to happen between us, no, we're not boycotting nobody. Stop this mess. We're not boycotting our own self. We're just not doing that. We're going to sit down and have a conversation. These are some of the things that we've heard you said about us. We admit these are some of the things that we've said. It was all out of ignorance and not knowing, most of it not knowing any better and being told different things. Yes, we were told that they don't like us. They think that we're less than them. And they've been told stuff too. I don't care about no hearsay. I don't care anything about that. Family get together, have a conversation, pan out our differences, and move forward together. That's what we do. We pan out our differences. This is family. I'm proud to be an American. Yes, I'm a Black American, but my roots are in Africa. I would love to go back and see the motherland. I don't know if I'll ever get an opportunity to do that. But slavery separated us, but we're still family nonetheless. I say, let's get together, have a conversation, pan out our differences. This don't make no sense. Y'all. We got to do better. I say, let's come together. Let's talk about our differences, pan out our differences, and let's end this and move together in love and unity, the way it should be. Love and unity for one another. We're different because of the slavery. And it has separated us for hundreds of years. And our ancestors suffered in ways that nobody, unless you're a foundation here, you just probably wouldn't understand. But that doesn't mean that we don't educate. And that don't mean that we don't teach. And we step in their shoes and hear from their side. And then they understand and we both understand each other. How about it? Somebody set up a Zoom meeting. Somebody set up some type of platform where no negativity. We all come in with an open mind and sit down and talk about this. We're not boycotting nobody. We're going to stop there right now. We come together and we talk about our differences. We put it all on the table and we walk away hugging and loving and supporting each other. That's the way it should be. Loving and supporting each other. Just because we're different don't mean that we can't come together. At the end of the day, we still all the same. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Look in the mirror. We're all the same. Nothing but love, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hey, African Americans. The short response to this is don't just take my word for it. Go to Africa and find out for yourself. But honestly, this rhetoric that continues to be pushed is not only downright disgusting, but it's continuing to push a divide amongst us. There are ignorant people in the African community. There are ignorant people in the African American community. Just like when I came here, I used to be made fun of for being African. I don't hold that against them because in the most respectful manner, they did not know any better. They were children and they were just going up for whatever was fed to them. If you go to Africa, you literally get treated like royalty. I'm telling you, royalty, bro. Last year, I went to my village with my boy Manhan, and when I tell you, up to this day, I spoke to my grandma the day before yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, how's my husband? Like, how's my husband?" Like, referring to my friend Manhan. That's like it's like a cultural thing where like your grandma would be like, "Oh, my grandson is handsome," like you know, that type of vibe. Like as an African American, when you go to Africa, you literally get praise, bro. I spent all my early life wanting to become like African American, bro. I loved watching Nino Brown. I wanted to be just like Nino Brown. I used to be walking around in Africa with a band-aid under my eye because I wanted to be like Nelly. I only saw posters, just off of posters alone, found him to be so cool. Within my friends group, there was a point where nobody went by their African name. Everybody wanted to be named something else. I was Nelly. Somebody else was 50 Cent. Somebody was Snoop Dogg. Like, that's literally how it was. But the media is not going to tell you that, though. The media is not going to tell you how many fights I got into because somebody wanted to be called Nelly. I'm like, nah, Nelly is me. You're going to have to go find somebody else. And I'm dead ass. If I'm lying, God strike me. This is facts. I remember having a poster of 50 Cent on my wall because I wanted to be like him so bad. You know those tank tops with the bullet going through with the G unit? I wanted to be like, I literally started working out because I wanted to look like 50 Cent. I kid you not. I swear to everything. Does that sound like...
I realized that people living in Europe and the Western world in general really had a skewed vision of what life was like in Africa. I lived in Guinea and my class took a ski trip to Switzerland. We took the plane, which I do feel I need to mention because I know some of y'all will think we went by boat. And on the day we landed, there was a mixer at our lodge with other kids from international schools. So there we are in the cafeteria and a kid from each school is randomly assigned to a table so that there are 6 to 8 kids from different schools at one table. Now, I don't know about the other tables, but they really had me seated with the nastiest and most uneducated mean girls. Little Regina George's in the making, if you will. Now I'm sitting there eating my fondue. One of them asks where I was born, so I reply with Belgium. Then she goes, "Oh, but you live in Africa." Then I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, so do you take the boat every weekend to go visit your family in Belgium?" That wasn't even the worst part because this kid had the audacity to start asking me how I ride cheetahs to school, how we hunt for lions. Like, honey, wealthy people in Africa probably live better than you do. Like, there are high levels of inequality like anywhere else, but first of all, Africa's not a monolith, and second of all, people from the Western world really think that everyone in Africa lives in huts and hunt gazelles. Like, educate yourself.
The exact time I need to sing, Satan, shame unto you, all power belongs to Jesus. Satan, shame unto you, all power belongs to Jesus. We are one. We are one. I'm happy with how the Africans and the Black Americans are coming out to air out their opinion, air out what is choking them. This is what we need. We don't need to be fighting. What are we fighting for? You are not feeding me, I'm not feeding you. Let's continue. I'll be back with commentaries.
There is a lot of arguing currently going on between Black Americans and Africans after a Black American lady made a post calling African food nasty, saying African food has no seasoning, fufu tastes nasty, Black Americans only eat Caribbean and Chinese food, and Africans are not happy about it. They are making videos, and in my opinion, it's not necessary. Black Americans are our brothers. Black Americans were brainwashed about Africa. They were told we don't like them, and all they saw about Africa were commercials of sickly looking, hungry children begging for money. They were told we live in huts with wild animals, and Black Americans are now starting to understand that Africans are truly their brothers. It was just people coming in between us trying to separate us because they know the more closer we get, the stronger we become. Africans are not responsible for the problems Black Americans are facing in America today. Besides, the lady in question is not a representation of Black Americans, and she sounds so uneducated. I'm sorry to say that because Black American women are the most educated demographic in America, but I guess she didn't make it in her cut. And it's fine. Africans have always loved Black Americans. We've always admired Black Americans from their music, their bandanas, their way of talking. We've always admired you guys, and Black Americans also love us. I've been to so many events with Black Americans. They are amazing people. They are well educated. They are well respectful. They wouldn't even talk down on food from a different culture, talk less of a Black culture, even if they don't like it. They are very respectful people. It's just other people trying to separate us. The whites are not fighting each other. The Asians are not fighting each other. Only us. We should stop all of this. We should stop all of this and come together and support each other with love and unity. It's going to make us stronger. Africans are not the reason for the problems Black Americans are facing today. An African has never sent a Black American to jail for 100 years because they stole a loaf of bread at Walmart. Africans are not the reason for the income inequality among Black Americans and other. They are not. We are not, the major problem Black Americans are facing today is not because of Africans. We are just also living our lives, doing our thing. So we should stop all this hate amongst us. We should come together and unite like other people from other races, like the Caucasians, the Chinese, or the Asians, and we're going to become stronger. We should stop all of this. It's not going to help us in any way. We are one. We love each other. Our ancestors have fought so hard for us to be able to see each other today, be in the same room with each other. We should embrace this opportunity and make history. We should add to what our ancestors have done.
Is it just me, or have you all noticed that literally every African who complains about African Americans always say that African Americans are lazy and that they need to get up and go to work and they need to stop depending on the government? Now, how did you sit down and come up to a conclusion like that? Oh wait, you didn't. You're just going by what the white man told you, right? Because I know you haven't lived in the US long enough to establish a study and come up to a conclusion like that. Also, Africans who've been in the US all their life do not think the way that you do. So at this point, no matter how informed or educated you are, you sound very stupid. Also, African Americans are not obsessed with race. Race is the problem in America, and they're trying to find ways to fix it. Just the same way, the problem in Kenya is corruption. We talk about it literally all the time. It's not an obsession. Also, do not give me that bullshit about African Americans being mean to you. People have been mean to you in Kenya. You didn't create a platform to bash them.
Do you guys understand that you have free will? Nobody is forcing you to braid your hair with African hair braiding shops. Do you guys understand that you can book with Black Americans through their Instagram, their link in their bio? Go ahead and pay your $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,000 for braids. Nobody is begging you to go and braid your hair for $200. These microaggressions against Africans, in fact, not even micro, it's not even micro anymore. These are macroaggressions against Africans. Is getting concerning, is getting out of hand, because not everything is a fight, not everything is an argument, not everything is outrage. You guys let Asians, Caucasians, Hispanics get away with everything, right? But when it comes to Africans, that is where you guys show power, which is fine. Let me tell you something. Black Americans are not the only group to spend money in African hair braiding shops. Africans exist in America. We are here. We spend money with our people also. So just like we spend money with you guys, we spend money everywhere as long as it is convenient, right? So let's stop acting like you guys were doing Africans a favor by getting your hair braided with Africans. You get your hair braided with Africans because it's cheap. It's very simple. So if you don't want to do that anymore, then don't do it. Go braid your hair with your people. It does not have to be an argument. Nobody's begging you. It's simple. Like, every time, outrage, backlash. You guys don't get tired.
African Americans that come on this app speaking negatively about Africans, as well as Africans that come on this app speaking negatively about African Americans, it's a stunt. Because no one cares in real life. This is not real life. In real life, we get along just fine. There's no issue. I'm around African nationals all the time from all different countries. No one gives a fuck. They don't care. And like, of course, there's always going to be some loud idiot. Always. Idiots are loud and they say stupid stuff, but we ignore them. That's what you got to do when you hear these people saying stupid stuff online. Stop giving them views. They're doing it for views or for shock value. Don't feed into the rage bait, because we don't care in real life. We get along just fine. And they not about to stop me from getting my goosey and poundo.
You see why I say this video is just for Black and brown people, people of color? Because why are we fighting? What are we fighting for? What are we competing about? Are you seeing my color? Are you seeing the color of my skin? That is how you are. The only difference between me and you is that you can speak shuru and I'm speaking normal. Let's continue with this video and I'll be back with commentaries.
Diaspora wars. Black Americans versus Black Brits versus Nigerians. I don't do any of that at all for many reasons. It's mainly and ironically because I have deep knowledge, you might even call it expertise, in why conversations to and about Black Americans happen the way that they do. And most people don't want to have that conversation. And I do not mean that in a clickbait, they not ready for this kind of way. Let me show you what I mean. I spent 15 years of my life studying Black American history, and that means, unfortunately, I have to study racism. Racism has a very evil tendency of being broadly specific. There is a very important field of study called critical race theory, and one of the tenets of that theory is that racism is normal. Not normalized, it is normal. There are many racist ideas, but these to me are the three that guide the conversations that are had to and about Black American people. One, it is that African American people are inherently, willfully uneducated and naturally intellectually inferior, that we are stupid on purpose and that we are stupid inherently. 2, that African American people do not feel pain of any kind. We do not have the capacity to feel. And 3, the idea that African American people get beneficial special treatment because of chattel slavery. The key here is believing that chattel slavery is a non-special event. So we get beneficial special treatment because of a non-special thing that happened to us. Every conversation that I have ever seen to and about African American people, especially on the internet, has contained one or more of these racist ideas. And the worst one sit at the intersections of all three. And it's not just about a poorly worded conversation. Remember what I said? Racism has an evil tendency of being broadly specific because it is normal. This is why Donald Trump right now is picking cities with predominantly black mayors and sending the military into those cities for no reason. When people say they don't get it, I believe them because most people don't. Racism is not just a tit for tat between white Americans and black Americans. Anti-black racism, specifically anti-black American racism, is a social, philosophical, psychological, sometimes even physiological phenomenon that leads to some of not only the most barbaric violence that I have ever seen or studied, but also some of the most casual cruelty that I have ever seen or studied. Most people, when they talk about black Americans, will freely admit that they know nothing about our history and culture, and in the same breath be so positively sure about all the conclusions they're coming to. Casual dehumanization is the only explanation for that, which is why I can't have the diaspora war conversations, because most people do not hear what they are saying, but I hear it, and I know how serious it is, and that's terrifying. This is a little bit longer than my usual videos. I tried to cut it down as much as I could, but every word was important. Speaking of, there are very few instances where I will pull my academic rank, and this is one of them. We will not be going back and forth about whether or not this is true. Not understanding is fine, but thinking that you could debate the veracity, the validity of what I just said, in my field of study, that is the equivalent of someone who believes the earth is flat. Racism is normal, so anti-racism takes practice. So I would invite you to watch this video while practicing the anti-racist idea that a black American person has produced something intellectual that you can learn from.
And so here are some of my thoughts on the diaspora wars. And before you come for me, remember, I'm just reflecting on the things that have happened and the things that are. I'm Nigerian, right? Born and raised in America, and I'm talking to you through a phone made of minerals from the Congo. Now picture this, not even 100 years ago, if you wanted to make a phone call from Nigeria to Benin, 2 neighboring countries, mind you, you would have to pick up the phone in Nigeria, have the operators connect you to operators in the UK, have those operators connect you to operators in France, and then finally be connected to operators in Benin. A very unnecessarily lengthy and expensive process. So why was this the case? Because all of the infrastructure that was set up in the colonies was made in such a way that it would benefit the so-called mother countries. How vicious of a mother to steal from her children, but I digress. Whenever black Americans come to me and tell me that they've gotten their DNA tested and have discovered that they're a certain percentage Nigerian, I'm always like, my brother, welcome to the family. But it's not like they need my permission to be welcomed into something that, tested or not, is literally in our DNA. Still, each time I hear this, I can't help but think that Nigeria as a concept didn't even exist until about 6 decades after slavery ended in the United States. So if you were to ask your ancestors that suffered through the Middle Passage about this thing called Nigeria, they would look at you like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? In fact, it wasn't until about the early 1900s that Lord Lugard, on behalf of England, took out his little African map and said, okay, the Belgians took the Congo River, we'll take the Niger River, and we'll leave France with the desert. And so Nigeria was born, and similarly so essentially all other African states. And today people so strongly identify with these concepts of nationality, which is not inherently negative, but you literally have Africans telling African Americans that they don't know where they come from. Bitch, we barely know where we come from. Nigeria is a made-up concept. It was crafted in 1914. I was at its 100th birthday. And since then, the British have been putting our art in their museums, putting our fuel in their cars, beating us for speaking our language in schools, and telling us praise be to Jesus and God save the fucking queen. That's crazy. But what's really crazy is that the folks on the phone call from Nigeria to Benin could have very well have been second cousins twice removed. You see, when Lugard drew our beloved country lines, he cut right through the land of the Yoruba people, leaving most of Nigeria speaking English and pledging allegiance to the Nigerian flag, but a sizable chunk in Benin speaking French and doing the same for theirs. So why does this matter? Because the differences between us that we define ourselves by so heavily, they are constructed, they are subjective, and they were not even created for our own benefit, which is kind of a positive thing because it means that we're not really that much different at all. God only knows what they were yapping about back in the day on their landlines, but I hope it was more productive than some of the shit I hear people say today. Of course, nowadays we can communicate much quicker, but technically we're still doing it on their platforms. Yeah, we've definitely come a long way from that long and expensive process of 2 bordering countries calling each other from separate continents. I mean, nowadays South Africans and black Americans can bitch at each other in real time, which is progress because the communication is happening live on the air. But maybe we could veer ourselves into some more productive conversations about how we can come together and own what is literally owed to us and underneath our feet. Because at the end of the day, we are literally all getting fucked still, no matter where we are. Of course, I'm not implying that culture and history are not important. They definitely are. As I said, I am a proud Nigerian American, but remember, we make culture and we make history, not the other way around. So
Nigerian American man went on Twitter and called Tyler an uppity African whatever, and all black Americans, ethnically black Americans, got blamed for it, and we're still getting dragged to this day, although that wasn't from us. Jay Versace said something about African models, although he is, I think, either all Caribbean American or half Caribbean American, yet all the entire diaspora is dragging black Americans. One black American came on here and said they're boycotting African business, and the entire diaspora is taking the time to jump in and dogpile on black Americans and basically tell us how much y'all don't like us. And I'm seeing there's a pattern that one person can say something and the entire diaspora thinks it's time to dogpile on black Americans. You know, an African says something, no matter what the country, the rest of the diaspora does not jump on them. A Caribbean says something, the entire diaspora doesn't take the time to dogpile. But a Black American says something, or presumed Black American says something, and the entire diaspora takes the time to dogpile. It's like people cannot wait. Yes, there's ignorant people, but I don't know. It's just this whole year, people have been searching for, I mean, the person who said they're boycotting African business, who is that? Who is that? That is one person. In the video didn't even get any traction until people started dogpiling on Black Americans because of one person who said that. And it started to disturb me how reactive people are to when you get a wind of maybe a Black American says something. Now the entire world that has a Black population is like, okay, let's talk about our grievances with Black Americans. And I feel like the energy is not reciprocated. We were not raised to say we don't like y'all. Like, growing up, I heard East Africans are the most beautiful people in the world, West Africans. You know, we started paying Africanism because we wanted to connect with our ancestors. With Caribbean people, we love the music, we love the food, we always, you know, liked y'all. But we learned that you guys are raised, when you come to America, don't be like those Black Americans. They're lazy, they're stupid, they don't have any culture. Like, y'all were raised with that. We were not raised with that. So I don't know why there's always this reaction, this strong reaction when you get a wind of anybody saying anything. Because that doesn't represent us. It does not represent us. And I'm so tired of seeing these diaspora wars because it's just like everybody's just dogpiling. Everybody's dogpiling.
I don't actually understand the diaspora war. I don't know why people are saying that the Africans ain't us. Last time I checked, the Africans stem from the same embryological origin as us. You want to know why? Because a title is made up. Titles are not real. Titles are a part of racial theory. They have nothing to do with biology and genetics, y'all. So if you can't explain how they're different genetically, biologically, anatomically, then I wouldn't say that a person that looks just like you, whose hair points towards the sun, who biosynthesizes the sun. Scientists are referring to our hair all over the globe as a ubiquitous species whose hair is referred to as sensory receptors, just like yours. Scientists are saying that we're the only species that is here through biogenesis and everybody else is here through spontaneous generation, but you want to tell him that he not you. But you want to cling on to the title of being Aboriginal. I said, brother, don't you know that the abor means to hate? So to hate the original, and out of your mouth, you have the audacity to say that the Africans ain't us. I know that's why you would think that. It makes perfect sense why you would think that. Because you already saying that you hate the original. Hemoglobin C is describing a type of antigen. Can you tell me what an antigen is, though? Because last time I checked, raving about O-positive blood is crazy, considering that zoo-born chimps and fucking pigs have O-positive blood as well. And they're born with it naturally. So understand antigens and the importance of the breeding that took place. I said, how could you deny breeding plantations when breeding was taking place on the plantation? They don't have to list it as breeding plantation. Nigga, we know buck breaking was taking place. We know that raping, I'm trying to TikTok friend. We know that all of that took place. We can look at history. We can look at science. We can look at introgression. We can look at hybridization. We can look at racemization, transfection. We can look at science. That's how come we know that it happened in science, not through his fabricated history. So y'all got to actually realize what's really real here. It's not about historical documentation. That's just how the science experiment worked. Now let's write it down and let's tell our perspective.
Fighting you as a Black American person is like fighting my own brother. Fighting you as a Black American woman is like fighting my own sister. Fighting you as a Black American anybody is like fighting my family members. Can you guys just realize that? Let's continue and I'll be back with commentaries.
I want to shut the fuck up sometimes. Stop falling for the trap. The African versus Black American beef is fake and it's funded and it's nowhere in real life. What's actually happening is we're being attacked by white people, white supremacists that run the state. We are being attacked by the American government. We're being attacked by European nations, and we're being divided by the people they're paying online. A lot of them look like us, sellout ass Negroes that are getting online and telling us that our beef is with other people that look like us and other people of color that may not look like us but are not white. And they are selling us this so that we will not rise up against the mayonnaise Martians who actually enslaved us, who actually mass incarcerate us, who actually are pushing us out of jobs, who actually are taking our opportunities, who actually are colonizing Black nations. The sellouts and the raccoons of social media are trying to sell us propaganda that we should be fighting other marginalized groups of people instead of fighting the people who are actually fighting us. And it's cowardly and it's bitch made. And we need to stop doing that. Well, we don't speak French. Y'all need to stop doing that because y'all look like hoes. They are paying social media creators to make a fake diaspora war online because the motherfuckers bored. They ain't got no life or no real careers, and they ain't got shit else to do. White supremacists love this. Why? Because while we're fighting online, the real attacks keep coming in real life. Government policies pushing us out of our own neighborhoods that black people have been in historically in the U.S. Government sanctions choking African nations. Police unaliving us in the streets here in the U.S. and abroad in other countries. It is divide and distract, and it's working. They don't want black Americans linking arms with black Africans. They don't want the diaspora united. They don't want us to have a swimming pool bigger than Kanye, because a united global black movement could challenge the systems that are crushing all of us. From Washington to London to Johannesburg. So the next time you see Africans versus black Americans content and videos, ask yourself, who profits from this? Always remember, we are one people with one history and one struggle. Unite, resist, build, Black August, global black power, Pan-African unity. Y'all be cool.
Learn when to shut the fuck up sometimes. Ever wonder how Uncle Tom became a slur? It's not just about the book Uncle Tom's Cabin. It's about how white ideologies, even so-called white allies, have always tried to shape how black people see ourselves. Who gets to define us? Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin in 1852. It was meant to expose slavery. It ended up centering white sympathy, but not black reality. Tom was portrayed as patient, meekly, even saintly, while real enslaved people fought back, resisted, escaped, led rebellions. White audiences loved it. Black abolitionists that actually stood on business so we could be free right now today, most of them rejected it. They knew it did not reflect the truth that they had lived. It made white readers comfortable instead of empowering black people, which we would think would be the whole point. And this is bigger than one book, from slavery to Jim Crow to today. To this day, white ideologies, whether friendly or hostile, have tried to define who we are and how we think as a people. That is why Uncle Tom became a slur. It symbolizes the very danger in letting others rewrite our story for us. It's time to decolonize our minds. We have to see the world as we did before colonization, through our own eyes, not theirs. Decolonize the mind. Learn when to shut the fuck up sometimes. Black dollars across borders. Y'all know what the real power is? It's in how we spend. Every single black dollar is more than just money. It's a whole weapon. When we spend money in our communities, it multiplies our strength and our power. But imagine if we took it beyond our own communities and even the nations that we live in, and we connected our black dollars globally. Coffee from Ethiopia, fashion from Lagos, jewelry from Kingston, technology from Atlanta. If we circulate black dollars across borders, our economy will become unstoppable. That's why bots and trolls push fake beef about black businesses, like African hair braiding shops or the Essence Fest. They want you arguing online instead of supporting black-owned businesses, shops, and institutions. Digital literacy means knowing when content is designed to distract you. If an account is pushing messaging saying not to support a black business or any black member of the diaspora, ask yourself why. Ask yourself, is this even real? Or is it somebody paid to keep us divided? The solution is simple. Buy black, buy Pan-African, buy diaspora. Build independent. Tag a black African diaspora-owned business, any black person, any black-owned business from anywhere in the African diaspora, so we can all follow and support as a Pan-African family. Learn when to shut the fuck up sometimes. Listen to me. This whole African versus Black American, Caribbeans versus Black Americans versus the UK, it's not even real. It's a setup. None of it is true. None of it is true. They made it all up. Here's the playbook. Divide and distract. Troll farms, fake accounts, even sock puppets made to look like us. They flood your feed with arguments just to get clicks, likes, and views. Y'all know this. While we're busy arguing about accents, flags, and culture, the real attacks don't stop. Policies are pushing us out of our neighborhoods. Prisons are filling up with our people. Sanctions are continuing to choke Mother Africa. Some of these accounts aren't even real. They're bots. They're trolls. They're sellouts. Their whole job is to trick us into fighting each other, so we never stand up and fight white supremacy. So we never stand up and fight the system together. So here's the digital literacy tip of the day. Do not argue with bots, okay? Report that ass. Report those motherfuckers. Block the bot accounts. That includes trolls, real people behind fake-ass accounts. They don't show you themselves actually in community with black people in real life, Black Americans or Africans or people in the UK. These people are not part of these communities. They're not speaking on behalf of these communities. If you've seen fake beef like I'm talking about in this video on your FYP and your feed, comment right below the words, I see it.
Learn when to shut the fuck up sometimes. Y'all know what it is. Today we're trying Mama's African Market and Cuisine in Shreveport, Louisiana. About to get some of this good fufu. Let's see the beautiful writing on the wall and art. Got the seasonings on deck and the flour on deck, the fufu flour that you need. So you got stuff that we can whip up and cook at the house. We got more frozen goods so we can go get. Got the Doodle Hassan black soap.
At the time, they were in the back fixing my order. Didn't take any time at all. Hats off.
I got it. Let's get it and rate this food 1 to 10. For the fufu, that's kind of like a starch, a bread-like starch that you dip in and eat with. This is made with pounded yam, spicy goat and egusi. Spicy goat meat with the egusi. Y'all see that egusi? The egusi seeds. So that texture we get from having like the juices from the chicken or whatever meat we're cooking, you know, mix in with the cornbread and make a dressing. That is the texture and the vibe and the flavor profile of the egusi with the meat juices and the stock mixed in with it. And if you're not familiar with goat meat, it kind of has like a oxtail kind of vibe to it. Not the same. Oh, y'all didn't see this meat just slide off this bone. This is off the boneness. This is off the bone activity. I don't want to play. Oh my God, this is falling. Oh my God. Oh, this was made by black people. This is black people food. Yes. So there's a bone right there. Y'all see that bone right there? Y'all see that meat falling off that bone? God damn. This is some overnight cook type action right here. This meat. Oh my God. It's like if the mashed potatoes and the light bread had a baby, it would be fufu in terms of texture. I don't know how long y'all been big backing, but if you ever got like some soft buttery bread together with some mashed potatoes and some stock from some meat, it is a higher tier big backery. I give this fufu from Mama's African Market and Cuisine in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. This is amazing. I want to eat this with everything. I don't know if that's allowed. Some Africans chime in the comments and let me know if that's okay. I want to have this with everything that I eat every day. I give this a egusi 9.8 out of 10. This is wonderful. It's amazing. The meat and the oils and the stock from the goat is combined with the egusi and doing amazing things. I'm definitely going to be back to this restaurant and try some other cuisine like the red snapper. I would have had the red snapper today, but I love red snapper and I would have had to lay down on the couch, and I still got things to do today. So I'll be back for the red snapper and the oxtails, because you know how the African diaspora love a good oxtail, or oxtails, depending on your part in the diaspora. You may or may not include the S on the oxtail. I'm a holla at y'all. Pan-Africanism 2.0, big in my back, one black nationality at a time. Love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day. Learn when to shut the fuck up sometime. Black August, the freedom month they don't want you to know about, because they don't want us to have a swimming pool bigger than Kanye. August has never been just another regular month. You were just never taught about it in school, but you're gonna learn today. August 1st, Emancipation Day, celebrated by Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana. They all celebrate freedom earned, not freedom given. But what does the U.S. have to do with this? I'm glad you asked. Hold on to your seat. 1733, St. John's Rebellion. 1791, the Haitian Revolution begins. Although a Caribbean nation, a historical act that will ultimately lead to the Louisiana Purchase, which, as we all know, the Louisiana Territory was not part of the United States. The black Americans that were enslaved in Louisiana Territory were French-speaking people under the same Code de Noir slave codes as the people in Haiti and other French territories colonized by the French. They had more to do with French slavery than the British slavery by their 13 colony cousins. In the year 1800, enslaved man Gabriel Prosser begins planning a mass slave uprising. In the year of 1831, Nat Turner's famous rebellion began, becoming the largest slave revolt in what is now known as U.S. history. All of these events took place in the month of August. A lot of the things that impacted all of our lives forever, as it pertains to chattel slavery, took place in the month of August. Where did the actual phrase Black August come from? Were the slaves using it? No, they were not. Black August was born in U.S. prisons to honor revolutionaries like George Jackson. The month of August, Black August, this is our season for resistance. Instead of boycotting our cousins, we're going to stand together unified. Not only are we going to not boycott each other, we're going to come together, lift each other up, celebrate one another's culture, call out things that we did historically across this app, and stand in solidarity as one big Pan-African community.
To every single person that we have offended as Africans in one way or the other, to every single person that we as Africans have called lazy, to every single person that we as Africans have never felt the pains of what you have been through, or what you have seen, or what you have, we are sorry. Ngwanu, sorry. Please, let's be one. Let's be friends again. Why are we fighting? Why are we backbiting each other? Why are we coming on the internet space to let these people laugh at us? Why? That's why when I saw it on the internet, I was like, what are we dragging? We are sorry. We are sorry for calling you guys lazy. You guys are the most sweetest, the most strongest people in the whole world. Black Americans, I love you guys, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. I've come here several times on this space to talk about how I have a Black American mom and dad that adopted me, and they've loved me genuinely from the depth of their hearts. Yes, this is me saying my own part too in this video. We love you. You guys are the best. You guys are sweet. We are not taking your meekness for granted. We are not taking you people for granted. Why do we even need to fight each other? Look at my skin color and look at your skin color. Hi, yes, you are either a bit lighter than. If I bring my daughter is just come and show them your light skin. She's lighter. Come and show them your light skin, so that they will know that we are one. We don't need to be fighting. We don't need to panic. We don't need. See her. We don't need to fight. We don't need to panic. We are one. Exactly. Hi. We're exactly the door. So please, guys, let's be one. Let's cherish each other. Let's love each other. Let's keep sharing these videos so that some of our Black Americans can also see this video. Some of our African people can also see these videos and like it. Honestly, I love this space of peace. Instead of we looking for a way to fight each other, why not we create an atmosphere, create a particular platform strictly for Black Americans and Africans, where we come together, air out our opinion, air out what is paining us, and then we talk and everything. You can help me tomorrow in your country. I can help you tomorrow in my country. That is how I see life. There is literally nothing in this life to fight or drag or argue about. And we keep giving people spaces to laugh us and be like, oh, they can't even come together, despite the fact that they know where their root is from. Yes, I know a lot of Black Americans are denying the fact that their root is not from Africa. They're not even born in Africa. They're not even traced in Africa. They don't even have any lineage in Africa. I'm not here to argue with you, be it your root is from Africa or not. The only thing I'm here to say is look at the skin and let's make this melanin popping sweet skin. Let's make it as one. Let's come together. Let's cherish each other. Let's love each other. And let's keep spreading the good news. That is all I'm just asking for. Anyways, I hope this video is able to help someone out there. If it does, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, drop your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. Like I said, this video is just for educational purpose, not to bash anybody. And every stitches and clips we use in today's episode, credit belongs to the original creators of these videos. And yes, with no further ado, I do have like I say in my videos. I'm going to be saying, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I love you guys. Mwah.